board members are present, so we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, open for public input. There's no one that I see here, so we will move to approve agenda, changes to agenda. We need to add F to discussion items, which is fitness center acceptable joint agreement with Avera. And if everybody's in agreement, we just need a motion to approve.
Do we have G too?
Well, he didn't ask me to add that. I don't know. I wondered that myself, but it doesn't say that in his notes.
So it's weird because they're both on the original
Because I got F on it.
preliminary agenda.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if we need to add either. I mean, the agenda was posted with both those things on there.
Oh, that's weird. Maybe he just forgot to remove that out of the...
Maybe.
Okay.
I think it's just as...
Okay, just approve agenda, then we just need a motion to approve.
Yeah. So move.
Second.
All
Moved by
right.
Schoenfelder, second by Leishner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, no new conflicts of interest that we're aware of. So we'll move to approve consent agenda. School board will approve the minutes from the July school board meeting, pay the claims, approve coaching contracts for the following: Nicole Roth, assistant FFA advisor for $2,296. Jason Weber, assistant football coach, $3,838. Bridget Monafaring, competitive cheer, $4,173. Aaron Denning, junior high volleyball, $2,249. Kayla Converse, sideline cheer, football, girls basketball, boys basketball, $3,381. Sean Jolly for junior high boys basketball, $2,249. Dan Bonte, head wrestling coach, $5,220. Brady Knowles, assistant wrestling coach, for $4,380. Jeff Harris, assistant wrestling, for $3,758. Declare list of items as surplus with and without value, and void the following checks issued to the following vendors.
Those items surplus, we're gonna sell the items, but you do not have to put a value on the items,
Okay.
because no item is over $5,000. So we do not need to accept sealed bids, advertise for 2 weeks and all that stuff, just so you know.
Okay.
So you don't need, we'll put a value and we'll sell those items, but there's no deal where you've gotta set it here tonight.
Okay. The checks that will be voided are for Harv Sports Shop, $559.93, which was a duplicate payment. Power Spelling for $29, duplicate payment. South Dakota Association of Agriculture Educators for $65, which was also a duplicate payment. So for approved consent agenda, outside of the things that we listed, we need to do A, approve July minutes, B, approve claims, C, approve contracts, D, declare items surplus, and E, void canceled checks. And I just need a motion to approve if there aren't any questions.
I'm just curious, Craig, where do we find the surplus items?
The list can be, I have the list, it's on my, Mr. Gregg gave it to me, but it's actually on my desk right now. It can be obtained. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put that list out for X amount of days on the website. I talked to other business managers today about this and how to go about it, because we're gonna put it up for sale to the public first. On a first come, first served basis. We'll get the list out there, we'll list it for a few days, and then that deal, it'll tell you when you can come in.
Sure.
Give them a few days if they want to come look at it stuff, and then they can come in if they want to buy it on the certain day. That'll be published on the website and the app and all of that. We're trying to get it done by next week, so that's the goal.
Okay.
We need the space to start putting stuff away.
Any other questions? I see a motion to approve.
So move.
I'll second.
Moved by Leishner, second by Crowell. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, so we'll move to information, discussion, staff reports, and hear from the high school principal.
Good evening, everyone. Well, God, I feel like it's been a while since I've seen you because I think I missed the July meeting. So, busy summer. Surprise, it's already done. The last week has been pretty hectic. We kind of got the schedule squared away, high school schedule, middle school, our home. You got to kind of marry those all together. Finally got that done last Monday. Got all the student schedules in. Handed them out today in the high school level. So we had a lot of schedule changing going on today, which is a good thing. It's kind of that necessary process that's got to happen. So I had a lot of kids stop by today for pictures, pick up their schedule. Saw a lot of faces today, so that was kind of neat, getting ready to roll. Tomorrow we have our first day of teacher in service. We head up to Mitchell, so that'll be kind of a neat day. There's a pretty well-known speaker named Mr. Kishnick that's going to come for about 8 schools. So do that tomorrow, and then all the teachers are in the building on Wednesday. So busy week. It's gonna. I know next Tuesday is going to come fast, but we're getting there. Over the summer, we had lots of stuff. I think Miss Ackerman and Mrs. Kupka just got back from Rapid City. What day? Thursday last week?
Wednesday.
Wednesday last week. They went out for some CTE teacher professional development stuff. Had a good one, and so yeah, we're getting kind of rolling with that too. So, other than that, you got any questions for me? Like I said, the process is rolling. We're getting there. Middle school schedules will hopefully be ready by Wednesday, and then those kiddos will come pick those up and computers, and kids will be here in no time. Any questions for me? Think anything, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Adam.
Hi everyone. Kind of same stuff as Cole just mentioned with getting the year kicked off. Excited to get back. A lot of time just spent planning, getting organized over the summer. I'm excited to kick things off in Mitchell tomorrow and then get the teachers in here and go through a few things with them on Wednesday. So just kind of excited to get that going. Haven't had a bunch of new students or anything like that. Enrollment's been just pretty steady from where we left off of last year. We've had a couple leave that are going back to school where their dad lives, and I've heard that we might have a couple coming in. Just waiting to see on some registrations there. So I think we're pretty balanced from where we left off at the end of last school year. As far as from activity standpoint, busy time of year, we're getting those kicked off and underway. Competitive cheer started on Monday. Football kicked off on Thursday. Boys golf is getting going, and then we got volleyball and cross country starting later this week. So it's fun to see the kids getting in, working hard. I think they're excited to be back. I think they're excited about the new facilities that we're getting ready to start using, and just an exciting time of year as far as that goes. So I think that's all I have really for right now, unless anybody has any questions. Okay.
Thank you. All right. And I don't think we won't. I mean, we're not going to read anything, so if you kind of give us a report. Okay. So because Mr. McKinnon is absent today, we'll just skip over the superintendent report. So we'll move to discussion items. Discussion item A is to review a policy manual. So this will be a first reading for the following ASB/SD policies being presented for review and for district consideration. So EBCD, ECA, ECAA, ECAB, ECAC. Were there any questions about any of those?
What was the last one?
ECAC.
Didn't have any questions. One of them, let me get down to it here. Find it. It's the ECAA, Equal Access. I don't really have any questions on this. It just really seemed, I don't know, it seems, didn't make me feel right, I guess is what I want to say. And I'm sure a lot of this is legal requirements, I guess, but, and I probably didn't read it as in-depth as I should. But to me, it just kind of seems to say that any organization can do anything, or can have any meeting, you know, during, you know, obviously out of classroom time, but I guess I probably have more specific questions for Mr. McKinnon when he comes back, and we can do that next time too, at the second reading.
Okay.
This is probably, like I said, 95% legal stuff.
But down on the regulations part, because I read the same thing, and it says non-school persons, wait,
Yeah, it did, I know what you're gonna say there. What did it say? Non-school persons can be denied access to school district property.
right, and then non-school
May
something about the media, or the...
may attend student meetings, but
Yeah,
are not
the
allowed to
content.
direct, conduct, or control activities
Yep,
of non-curriculum related student groups during the
Because I
winter.
think this relates to the trusted agency account groups like FFA, FCCLA,
And that's what
student
I-
council, things like that.
Yeah,
I think
and
is
that's-
what a lot of that is for.
And that's what I would read into it too, but I think if push comes to shove, I think it could be applied to any student-led group, I guess is my question.
I kind of agree with
Yeah.
that, but I kind of read the same thing, but then I thought kind of it clarified it when it went down to the regulation, but maybe not.
Either Cole or Adam, do you know anything about that?
What's that?
About the policy of equal access? You probably haven't read into that.
ECAA one.
That's fine, we can just ask next meeting.
Sure.
Yeah, the only other thing that I looked at was the EBCD. So it says in there about postponements for activities. So I just want to make sure that what we have in there is what we're going to follow. Because I think there's been some questions about inclement weather, and then we still have practices or activities that happened this last year. Maybe, I know there were different circumstances and why things were done and weren't done, but I just feel like we have to be particularly following that if that's going to be our policy. So we can talk about that at the second reading too.
And then on the very last paragraph of that one, no, that's where it wasn't.
When the school has been closed, you know, at that
The
part.
second to last paragraph. In such situations, no, that's not it, the next one down.
Oh, it does say it there.
Expectation did not result in a potentially dangerous travel condition. And the only thing that came to my mind was not school related, but over in Sioux Falls when they canceled all the 4-H or the 4th of July events because of the predicted snow or predicted weather coming in, and it didn't happen. So that was just one area that I thought would apply. You know, something like that could potentially apply, or you know, we canceled school and at 12 o'clock, obviously it's not going to happen.
Sunshine and
Yeah,
roads are
right,
melted. And,
right.
Yeah.
You know, I think there has to be some common sense. taken
Yeah,
in
that's
that.
not a bad thing to have in there. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, it was just something I wanted to make sure we were, I agree, paying attention to. I didn't have anything else. Anyone else? Okay, that was just first reading, so we'll bring those back to the next meeting. Next time, for second reading. All right, discussion item B is to review policy manual. The following ASBSD policies are being presented for review in a second reading for the district consideration. EBBB, EBC, EBCA, EBCB, and EBCC. So that was the second reading. If anybody had any questions further after the last time we discussed those. Okay. So discussion item C is this reviewing, and the following ASBSD policies are being presented for review and adoption and inclusion to the district policy manual: EA, EB, EBA, EBB, and EBVA. So if there weren't any further questions about any of those, we just need a motion to approve. So moved.
Second?
Moved by Neville, second by Leishner to approve those policies. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, discussion item D is building and HVAC project updates. Do you have
Okay.
those, Craig?
Yeah, I do have a few
Okay.
little things here. Well, he gave you a list in there, the change order spreadsheet. He had that to show you a list of those so far. Where they're at today or this week, the parking lot out front and some of the cement work on the north side there is gonna get started tomorrow. They got it formed up today. You saw the sidewalk along around it going this way. Was formed, and tomorrow supposedly, or this week at some point, they're gonna be starting to lay the asphalt and the cement for that parking lot area. Cement being the sidewalk and then the asphalt parking lot area. The floor in the multi-use facility has been painted. The stripes are done as far as cured now. It had to sit for 2 weeks with no one on it. And then it's got to sit for another 2 weeks before they can scrub it and clean it and that kind of stuff for it to fully cure for those lines, because there's nothing going over the top of those lines. So that's where the floor is at right now. The signage, they got a lift in here, I know. It was sitting out in the parking lot yesterday. And the lift, and they're going to go across that floor over wood planks, putting plywood down first, but they're going to start on that signage on the outside. But they had to do something on the inside of the deal, so they had to take the lift across that floor, but they had to wait for that lines to get done before they could do that. And that's going to be started as well this week on the signage out there. And then one thing that is not on the list that Mr. Fisher and I talked to, and Mr. M doesn't even know about yet, we talked to Tony about it. There's no locking door that goes from the old part to the new part. Not all the, like, there's the door that can lock that comes into right there by where the old high school office is, but it's at the end of the hallway on the south. The doors, one swings this way and the other one swings this way, and then when they shut, there's no lock on those doors. And originally, I mean, me and Mr. Fisher both said, Tony, how are we going to lock anyone out, or how do we keep anyone that has a key fob out of coming into the main area of the school at night or whenever? So we need to have those doors able to lock. Otherwise, the key fob deal, they can get into anywhere, because they could come through that hallway and then go this way or whatever, down the NPR hallway, everywhere else. So that will be something that Mr. M will have to talk to him about when he gets back. And Tony's already known, so he's supposed to be looking into it and seeing what type of mechanism they need to put in those doors. He says it's possible. Just got to change the mechanisms in the doors. He just doesn't know to what extent.
The door swing just can't be changed.
Well, the reason why they swing the way they do is that's at an angle. And so if this door here swung this way, because if he swung this way and someone's walking down the hallway, he could smack them, was one of the reasons why it swung the way it did. But the doors were made, for that purpose. It's the mechanisms in the door. Right now, there's no way to lock it, period, from either side. They were never, according to him, planned on being locked, but I know we talked about that being locked.
That they couldn't go back and forth.
Yes,
in the building.
that's somewhere down the line that got dropped or whatever. So that's something that's going to be coming up that's not been told to anyone yet. But we felt it's something that at least we need Tony to look into and see what it was going to be to resolve that issue. I know that hallway floor has been sealed, the storage area. We are working on with Newton's out there at getting some brackets to put stuff up on the wall, like the cheer mats up on the wall, so to clear off space that we can put the bleachers underneath. The bleachers are all, I think, mostly assembled, and then the cheer mats will be above and the bleachers will slide underneath them, so we got a little bit more storage in there. So that'll be an added expense that we don't know what it amounts to yet, but he's making some brackets that we can put on the wall and store them up off the floor, kind of out of the way and open space up there. Guys, is there anything else you can think of that I didn't talk about?
We were just talking about the training tables or.
Oh yeah, training table room area. So the training, originally they have slots built for training tables in there, but the training tables were not included in the project. So those have been ordered. and the whirlpool tub that they built the spot for in there. And then the other thing is the ice machine will be moved over into that training room area from where it's at now. But we're not, and not a new one, just the one we currently have. Will be relocated, so.
And the one by the gym?
By the girls' locker room
Yeah.
door there. Yep, that one will be moved from there over into the training room area. Because those were not cheap, a new one of those. And ours is working, ours works fine. Needs to be up, cleaned and maintenance every once in a while. We come have our refrigeration come down and make sure the coils are clean and stuff like that. But yeah, but it works. It operates good. Any other questions you guys have? Oh, the signage I know out front there. There is a resolution for that, so I don't know exactly how the words are going, but it's different, and they've got that in the works already of how they're not gonna have to reorder new letters. They're gonna be able to. The main thing is they're probably gonna have to get one new piece of tin where the letters are now, and those holes will be there. That they're gonna replace that piece of tin.
And I think we have extra.
We had some extra, maybe even, so they might not even had to. We got extra flooring. There's extra stuff all over in there that we're gonna have to either get rid of or find a place to store, because we keep asking Tony, whose is this? And he's going, oh, it's your guys's. So you can do whatever you want with it.
Great.
So there's 2 rolls of the flooring that multi-use facility flooring and stuff in there, extra, and yeah. So that's why we got to get that storage room cleaned up so we can start moving that stuff where it needs to be.
Okay.
And the teachers can get organized.
I was gonna add too, like, a couple of the final touches finally kind of happened on our part, you know, which would be considered phase 1. If you notice, sometime over the weekend, all the rock got laid.
Oh, yep. Oh, that's right, yeah.
Out front, like, we don't got a bunch of dirt anymore. We have really nice rock
curb-
landscaping.
Yep, the curb and edging was done.
We got in our locks finally, so like we can kind of secure the doors. There's only issue we got is one of the doors doesn't lock behind itself, so Interstate's supposed to be coming down to fix that, and then our part will truly finally be finished. So we're almost there.
Okay.
One thing when we did the landscaping, when you come out the front doors, the east doors or whatever, there's that gap where the round part is, where you start going down the stairs. There's a space, and kids come out of there and they go down the grass. We thought of putting a post in there and like running a chain through there. That's something to discuss with Mr. M or
Okay.
you guys or whatever, just to keep them off the rocks, keep them off the grass. It'd be fairly
A
simple.
chain that could be unlatched and latched type of chain.
If that's, yeah. put
I don't.
a couple
I have
eye
that
bolts
there,
into
so-
the building or whatever, and yeah, they can be latched and
Gotcha.
unlatched or
Gotcha.
whatever. Oh, just to
Keep so they don't wear a path.
right. Exactly.
Good idea.
Figured that'd be a cheap, simple fix.
Okay. Anything else? Thanks, Craig.
Yep.
All right, we'll move to discussion item E, which is athletic complex master plan update. We'll review notes from planning meeting regarding the future development of a summer sports complex in cooperation with Mammoth and the city of Parkston.
Let you guys talk on that, as I was not.
You're looking at
there.
me?
I don't know, I mean, I don't.
We talked about it, and there were again a lot of ideas thrown out about doing. We basically had it set up like a football field, and then in each corners they had the backstops. And what did that price come in at?
I don't know.
4.3 million.
Something like that, yeah.
So then we got talking about, well, one question came out, what is the lifespan of this turf? And it was mentioned 15 years. And then the tune everybody's tune kind of changed after they heard 15 years. So I think the last thing that we left with them is about just turfing the baselines or whatever. And doing all grass out in the fields. And they were supposed to come back with some numbers.
Would that affect did they say would that affect the drawings of the football field then?
Yeah, they wouldn't be on there.
They'd be in a different location then.
Well, no, I mean, you would have to paint them.
No, I mean like,
The
would the turf be part of the football field?
the infields would be, or
Base paths?
The base paths would be part of the football field, but the rest, I mean, like everything else would be grass.
Well, I don't know why that wouldn't need to be part of the, if there's just 2 of them. I don't know why they would need to be, I mean, you just scoot the football field farther to the.
And redo the fields type of deal that way, yeah, okay.
Yeah, put the
I don't know.
practice field on the east side by that soybean field or whatever.
Yeah.
I think it just is a matter of trying to get 20 ideas whittled down to one, and, you know, keeping in mind this is extremely long-term. You know, we're not doing this next year, this is just a plan, that's all we're doing, so we just need to
Trying to get the ideas
Trying
to
to get-
make the best plan.
so we don't
in
do
the end.
something that we kick ourselves for later because something's in the way and now we can't do something, so so I think Mammoth's doing a great job, and I think they're doing really well. You know, if they do a lot of the work, I think it'll come with price tag, but I think they're top of the class as far as what I can tell, so.
Yeah, yeah, I've been in some of their other facilities that they've done over to Sioux Falls, and they're, yeah, really nice places, so.
So what are we trying to fit in? Two ball fields and a football field? or-
Well, I mean, a lot of it comes down to how busy this main Orange Park over here is in the summer. I forget how many games were played on there last year.
192.
192 games.
Too many.
On one field, yeah.
On
so-
Orange?
Yeah,
Holy cow.
so,
Or not the orange for the pond,
Oh,
no, the Orange field,
or the orange.
the little one. I was gonna say, I would feel
All
like that one
levels
would
of
be busier
softball.
than the big one.
yeah.
And we piece
Yeah, all
and
the little-
midgets,
yeah.
so it's like 7 teams.
Yeah.
So that's what the
One
city is
field.
coming at it from. I mean, they've got a lot of demand for this, and they're just trying to make it more accessible, so.
Here's kind of what they had proposed. So here's Chapman Drive. Here's our driveway. They proposed putting in that southwest corner, diamond, and then like a concession stand area, another diamond. Here's the greenhouse. They said initially they had this all the practice football field, and this was all going to be turf. But
Oh, jeez.
so now we left. The last idea was to make just this turf and leave this all grass.
So then you can pull the,
And that's right, I just don't know if it would work for a practice football field with
Right.
running from grass to turf and back to
Right.
grass.
In my mind, you got
Could-
to be all.
You put two different, yeah, exactly,
you
two different
pull-
locations then.
that
No,
fence,
21,
can you pull
yes.
this fence in to where the turf starts and just have grass with the field out this way?
Right.
Well, that's what the nice thing about keeping grass is
Right,
that you
that's
can
what
have
I'm wondering.
a movable fence, so you can go out
Move
to
this
the
fence up to the turf and then just use this out here.
yeah.
And your football field maybe runs a different direction.
Uh-huh.
Or like I said, there's all this space
That's
out
what
here
they're-
too.
I feel like you'd regret it if you don't do an infield turf. I agree it doesn't all have to be turf, but I feel like infield it,
The
dirt.
base pass for sure.
yes.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
And their general philosophy,
Well, infield because it'll be
yeah,
no grass. This is a softball
Yeah.
only, little league baseball only, so it's not a grass infield.
So the one discussion that you guys remember too is like, their initial thing is they wanted to make the entire orange field turf.
yeah.
And when we come back, we've asked for just the infield, but the entire infield
yeah,
turf, because then we wouldn't have to chop, upkeep, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
So that's the hope, is like the idea of possibly redoing, one project being redoing the orange field where not the whole thing turf,
Mhm.
you know, grass outfield, turf infield, and then maybe clean up the fencing dugouts rather.
Make it 200 across.
Yes. And then obviously the project over here is where they're talking about, like, the original plan they gave us is a combo football field slash the two baseball fields. It can be all of those things depending on the season. And at the end, one thing we're curious about is what would it cost if it's not turf? If it's just old school. You know, like we just had our 10U tournament at Salem. Salem's got two really nice youth fields side by side.
Nice concession.
Nice concessions, but everything's all dirt and grass. It's beautiful. You know, so it's like, what would something like that cost versus this? Now, granted, that's only ball fields and wouldn't have, like, you know, you look at the first one, you would get arguably 9 months of use out of it, but like you said, the shelf life is 15 years, so it's, is it worth it or not? Versus if you just turn them into two ball fields that you only use in the summer, but now that opens the door for obviously way less games played on the same field, far more practice capabilities,
Yeah.
as well as being able to host a number of tournaments.
So yeah, and then we're supposed to have another meeting. I have not heard that date.
It's either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. I'm trying to find the email where he said, and I can't find it to remember which one.
So clear as mud.
Looks like a work in progress.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Yeah, like I said, it's long term. I mean, there's got to be a lot of.
And we're trying to set it up too that we can build off of it. So if, you know, you decide you don't want to put the concession stands in now, you can put the concession stands in. You can, you know, whatever you want to put, someday put a parking lot out here, whatever, so that we don't inhibit any future growth.
Very good, thank you. Okay. All right, so we'll move to discussion item F, which is fitness center acceptable joint agreement with Avera.
Well, that was in your packet as well. I mean, I don't have a lot of information on that because I wasn't in with her, or with those meetings either. So, I mean, what you see there is what I have. So, if you have any questions on what they come up with?
So this is what they've approved already. Like St. Benedict's already approved their amounts.
Yes, their amounts, yes. So our amount now is what, 150, right? Is what it's showing.
Students.
Did you change it on the spreadsheet?
Oh, that's
employees.
employees of Avera.
Yeah, this is Parkston School District.
Yeah, there you go, in that column.
You know, just the Parkston facility was raised
Yes.
to $200.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
changed.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
I think the 150 on the last column there was the employees of the two places. And if they wanted the full thing for those employees. That was what it was extra, because they were, you know, for our employees, we've always let them use the weight room for free.
Sure.
And that was what our intentions are still. Now, if we wanted to add the Avera side to it, it's the 150 for our employees, and the same for their employees. This is the way I took it. So, and that's kind of what we wanted from last meeting, right?
So hold on. So you're saying that employees here, it's still free
Mm-hmm.
for just here?
For just here,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
And then if they want to do the additional,
That's what that last column
150
is
per year.
for, yes.
Got it.
Yep. Because they've always done, even, I mean, 20 years ago when we first got here, Avera out there always had a special discounted rate for the staff here.
Mm, okay.
I don't know.
Does anybody have questions, comments? Just kind of, we agreed on, I think the only thing we had an issue with was with this one section in the,
In the middle, right?
yeah, in the Excel spreadsheet.
And that's what we
Yeah, that's what
talked
you
about
changed.
last month,
Mhm.
right?
Yep, with students and without students, yeah. Okay,
So the biggest thing now is getting the insurance to sign off and accept, I don't know how much of the punch list they need to have done in order to do that. That's what they gotta figure out this week, I guess, before the
Okay.
open house, so that they can.
and is this rate that they pay, this includes access to it, right? Like their fob and everything to get in, and they don't have to pay extra for that, or?
No.
Okay.
no.
And is it the same to get into both places? I can't remember. Will it be the same?
No, it'll be different pops.
Okay,
Two different
Different,
pops.
okay.
If they do a joint combo where they want access to both places, they will have two different pops.
okay. Okay, sounds good. Anybody have other questions? Okay, so it was just a discussion item. Do you want a motion to approve what it is?
I do, I mean, if you want to approve that, I mean, we can approve, because there is a signature there.
Okay,
Just
okay,
to approve the fitness center joint membership agreement with the Avera St. Benedict's.
okay. So we just need a motion to approve that.
Yep.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Leisure, second by Turner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, we will move to discussion item G, which is the girls wrestling inquiry. We'll discuss whether girls wrestling becomes a district-sponsored sport for 24-25 school year.
I'm just gonna talk a little bit about that. So with that, we have some parents here for that as well. But as we look at girls wrestling, it's a growing sport now across the country, but it started out when it started here, that mainly, when it first started, girls were just wrestling at boys tournaments, etc. Now, they're pretty separate. They're different tournaments. They'd be going different directions on the weekends, things like that. This will be kind of the first year that we've had any girls interested. Done work talking with Coach Bonte, and what's that?
Oh, we need our names.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did you guys sign in back there? I don't have a sign-up sheet, so I will need your names before you leave,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
So I get them down in the minutes.
Just talked with Coach Bonte about that and what that could mean for the program. Kind of what we have done in the past. We haven't put any funding towards the new sports we've added. So I've just talked with Coach Bonte about, if we add girls wrestling, he would have to fundraise for some new singlets. There'd be some other tournament fees. But I did kind of include those in our budget just to kind of see what that would look like. And it's not too much. It's kind of, we would do it as, I think there'd probably be 6 or 7 girls potentially coming out. My understanding is 4 or 5 of them would be in the middle school range. There'd be 1 high schooler that we know of right now is what we're anticipating. And so trying that on kind of a smaller scale of a couple tournaments this year, leaving that up to Coach Bonte and kind of where the team is at. And he has been in talks with a coach that would be willing to hopefully volunteer his time to kind of take on some of the direction of taking the girls to these tournaments. And so that's kind of where we're at with it. As I was talking with Mr. Mikkonen about it, he thought it would be a good idea to bring it to the board because it is essentially adding another sport. Initially, when I was thinking about it, I thought it was just inclusive of just wrestling. But then as we started talking and he kind of brought up some different points, made me aware that we are going in different directions, and so therefore we would count it as a separate sport. So essentially adding girls wrestling because they're going now to their own tournaments. I've reached out and talked with Bonhome's, Scotland's AD, but he serves as the Bonhome girls wrestling coach. And he was just a longtime wrestling assistant on staff, and then he was delegated the girls program. So they've grown theirs, where they have quite a few girls wrestling, and so every weekend they're going to a different tournament. That's over time that they've grown it into that. And so he's kind of brought me in the loop and helped me kind of understand the process a little bit more. And so that's the information that I have, and just wanted to bring it to you guys now and see what your thoughts are, if you have questions, or what maybe our next steps might be in that. I guess for now, what I would be, just based on what we've done in the past, my thought would be if we can provide transportation, to me everything else the program would have to fundraise at this point, just based on what we've done with softball. And
We don't provide transportation.
no transportation, okay. So they'd have to fundraise for their things, which Coach Bonte and I have talked about and have some ideas on how we can potentially do that. But so bringing that to you guys.
Is there a deadline that you need to file with the state at all?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And you said there would be a separate coach?
Potentially we would add, we've had, Coach Bonte has a guy in mind that has helped in the past on a volunteer basis, who has expressed interest in helping specifically with girls wrestling, something that he has kind of followed. He's still close with the program and has expressed interest of potentially being a volunteer coach that would be willing to take that on.
Wondering. And then practice-wise, have you guys talked about how practice would work?
Yeah, I think with our new room, there wouldn't be any concerns of having all the practice together. We have enough space in there with our current numbers, what they are. Potentially if that grows, then we would talk about that. But I think with where our boys' numbers are and what potentially the girls' numbers would be coming in, I think we would be fine with the space that we have.
Okay. And then can you remind me how many boys sports we have and how many girls sports we have?
Ooh, I don't know that off the top of my head as far as total number of.
Give me a minute. I'll just
Okay, Cole will count them up for me.
Okay.
There's
More
I think
girls
it's
than
9
boys.
and 5 or something like that.
For,
Girls.
9 girls, 5 boys.
Mhm.
Some it's close to that number.
okay.
Okay, that's all the questions I have. Do you guys have any other questions?
How many girls tournaments are there?
I think there's basically one every weekend from what the Bon home coach was telling me
Sure.
of wrestling season.
And it's, I can't remember, state girls the same weekend as boys
Yep,
state?
so they go in the same spot.
Sure.
Regions, each region's kind of doing it differently, but our region will be having the girls on like, I can't remember if it's Thursday or Friday, and then the boys would be Saturday. So I think it's Friday.
Say that again?
So girls region wrestling, this is the first year they're having a region tournament
Yeah.
for girls. That would be on Friday, and then the boys region would be on Saturday.
Okay.
And then they would go to state
Same
together.
location?
It's not going to be, no. Because we have a few more teams.
Probably too big
It's
now.
bigger, the girls region is bigger now, so I think our region's actually gonna be in Aberdeen.
Sure.
But we rotate the boys region around kind of the area. And that's gonna be in Wagner this year, I think.
How many schools around here have girls wrestling?
Quite a few. I don't have the exact number. I could work on getting that.
Would you?
Yeah, I can do that.
6 and 9.
And essentially, this sounds to me like it's just really for the purpose of using the practice facilities. Because we're not really paying for anything then, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yep, at this point in the game, it would just be,
Mhm. The use of the facility.
yeah.
Okay.
No, that's not really anything to say. The
No,
parents.
because it's not open
Okay.
forum. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
sounds.
Work on gathering. some
Thank you.
I think right now it'd be, without counting girls wrestling, it's 8 girls sports, 6 boys sports.
You got sideline cheer, you got
Sideline
competitive cheer, gymnastics, softball.
I guess I didn't count sideline cheer, that would make it 9.
It's 9 and 6, yeah.
9 to 6.
That's what I had.
Granted, I think softball isn't funded, but you need 8
Yeah,
funded.
yes.
So 8 funded
versus
girls
6.
and 6 funded boys.
Yep.
Okay. Okay,
But 9 sponsored.
okay. Do you want to put that back on to talk about
Yeah.
the next time, so we
Yeah.
can just have
Yes,
some
we will.
thoughts?
And there's gotta be a date somewhere where you,
Yeah, I would
if it
think
were to
so.
happen this year, you gotta get to the state by a certain time, I'm guessing. You know, track had a date that, with
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
co-op thing, I know.
We should be okay if we, I mean,
Oh,
the
yeah,
season
it's in
won't start
September.
till
Oh, no.
end of November, so,
Yep.
yeah. Okay, sounds good. Thank you for the information. Okay, we will move to action items. Action item A is to approve financial report. The school board will review the May financial report for discussion and approval.
Thank you, that's all I need. Thanks. Oh, D, I like to use the first letter, it's okay. Sorry.
That's okay. We're just, if
What are we
you-
up to?
Does anybody have any questions about the financial report? Do you have anything you want to point out, Craig?
No, the annual report has been submitted. Only had 2 things to correct, so that was good. And these numbers were after that, so everything's looking. I mean, general fund, I will tell you one thing, we did only take the, what was it, 125,000 that we talked about as far as a transfer, instead of the full amount for there. You know, the 275? Yeah, we only did a 125, and to give it that balance, and our balance will, I think it went up about 14,000, our fund balance. In the general fund then, doing it that way, there's no sense, we didn't feel there was any sense of taking any more than that, making it go up. I mean, we're at 27%, I think, in the general fund as far as a fund balance percentage based on your expenditures for the year, which is good because you gotta keep it under 30. I mean, that's a comfortable number. 30% was like 1.8 million or something like that, and our fund balance is gonna be barely 1.4 or just under 1.4. I can't remember what it ended up exactly off the top of my head. So that was that. Food service did come down a little bit. over the time, so we'll see how that does. We are gonna do the free breakfasts again like we did last year to start the year. See how that keeps going and stuff there. For that balance, the QZAB bonds, we got one more payment left of that, so then at the end of that, then we'll, in December here, that'll be coming off of that financial statement as well, so we'll get rid of those and do whatever we need to do with that money at that time. But right now, remember, it's sitting in our checking account out at First National Bank.
But it's not really ours, right?
No, yeah, exactly, and it's not in our account here, it's in our account that we had to create, First National Bank of Phillip in Phillip, South Dakota, so that's where it's sitting, and I get
It's there
a,
to make us feel.
yep, I get a statement every year, or every month to tell us how much is.
That's exciting, it's almost paid off.
Yeah,
That's a good
yeah,
feeling.
exactly, so, so yeah, I don't have any, unless you guys have anything else.
Anybody have questions?
So you feel good about where we're at? Craig?
Yeah, yeah. The sped's a little low, I mean, but you gotta remember those out-of-district placements came off June 30th. And that'll make a drastic difference this year. So we'll see. One thing that could affect that though a little bit is, in the sped side, is the speech language pathologists numbers, or speech language, the numbers, those kiddos, there's quite a few. And they can't find a person. I don't know what, I mean, they say she needs more help, but we might have to group them up into different way and have them maybe not all one-on-ones, because there's just not enough time and they can't find the people to do it. I mean, a lot of other places do that. I mean, they don't, it's not like it's not something that doesn't happen in other places, but they're just not, that they can't get anyone hired out there.
A speech therapist.
Yes, and even they had an SPLA, an assistant, which is what we were using this last school year, but that person's left too now, so they don't even have that to help out right now at the moment. So maybe some groupings at the beginning of the year to get that until that gets resolved. But I think that number will be okay. We remember I did up the 2 tenths or 20 cents or whatever in the sped because of that. Those expenditures were just up there more. They only gained 50,000 I think total. Was what the 20 cents. So we were always doing 1.2, the minimum to, if you ever did have to go to the extraordinary cost fund type of deal. But now we're at 1. At one time it was 1.2. I can't remember what the number is this year off the top of my head, but it's the top of it. Okay.
Okay.
So I just need a motion. So move.
I'll second it.
Moved by Schoenfelder and second by Pohl. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, action item B is to approve handbook changes. So we will adopt the final elementary and 6th through 12th handbook changes for 24-25 school year. Were there any questions on any of those changes? I think there was just 2, right? There was an elementary one and one in high school, I think, maybe. Hey, guys. Changes on the
Handbook changes.
handbook. I just
Just
remind
one
us.
on each, right?
One in each, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mine was just, Yep.
Okay.
Updating it, I guess, to what was current.
Yeah, okay. I don't think there were any questions. I didn't have any anyway. You guys have any questions? Okay, you see a motion to approve the changes.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Leishner, second by Turner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right, we will take a short recess and clear the room, and we will move to executive session
There'll be,
for personnel.
I don't believe there's any action afterwards, right?
I don't think so.
Just so people know.
Yep, nope, I don't think so.